All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now 7 p.m. and I'll call this meeting to order. I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are on Treaty 1 territory, the homeland of the Cree, Anishinaabe, and the homeland of the Métis people. I would like to thank residents and visitors for attending our meeting here at the social scene, and thank Dennis at the door and Frank at the back for setting up the chairs and tables and cleaning up and checking people for COVID vaccination status. Dennis has asked that we keep our masks on unless we're eating or drinking tonight. A reminder that this meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded via our website, pardon me, to YouTube in the next day or two. I will start with introductions with Mr. Bartmanovich.
Hello everyone, Councillor Mike Bartmanovich.
Steve Axworthy.
Raymond Moore, CAO.
Penny McMorris, Mayor.
Irwin Cupker, Councillor.
Graham Randall, Councillor.
Thank you, gentlemen. Adoption of the agenda. Be it resolved that the agenda be adopted with the following addition. Development application at 331 Sunset Boulevard. May I have a mover? Steve, thank you. Second, Graham. Thank you. Any further additions, gentlemen? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. Next resolution, be it resolved that the minutes of the September 7th, 2021 regular council meeting be adopted as presented. May I have a mover? Erwin, thank you. Mike, second, thank you. Any discussion on the minutes that were circulated to all council members? All those in favor? Carried, thank you. We have no delegations, so we will move on to the committee reports, starting with Councillor Bartmanovich and Public Works, please.
Thank you, Penny. Usual work, maintenance work is going on around the RM. Dead and dangerous tree removal is ongoing. Grading of roads has commenced, and if you will notice that your roads are much smoother than they were just a couple of weeks ago. Also, to let everybody know that brush and deadfall can now be put out on the road allowance in front of your own property, please, until Monday, October 18th. At that time, our contractor will begin collecting and shipping and clearing the brush piles from in front of residences.
Mike, can I, sorry, just, Gary Downwich dropped by my place the other day. He'll be starting the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, not the next week.
Oh, not the
Pardon
next
me,
week?
yeah.
Oh, okay, so let's dial that back then until Monday, October 11th.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll have to talk to Public Works about that. So Monday, October 11th is the last day for putting brush in front of your road allowance.
Tuesday the 5th.
Right, and Public Works staff will be around as usual to pick up bags of leaves that can also be left on the road allowance. Civic signs have been ordered. For those of you who had ordered the green glow-in-the-dark signs for your properties, they will be installed by Public Works this fall. A reminder, bear-resistant garbage bins are available for $215, including delivery. We will be taking orders throughout the fall and the winter to ensure that those that want the bear-resistant bins have them for the spring season next year. Preventative maintenance on all municipal equipment is ongoing. Safety checks have been completed as required by the province and MPI. A reminder from Public Works that e-service requests can be made on the RM of Victoria Beach webpage, and that's victoriabeach.ca. Water samples from the water treatment plant, the well at the fire hall, and the Albert Beach pump house continue on a monthly basis to be taken into Winnipeg for mandatory testing, and our water remains 100% potable. That same potable water, as a reminder, will be turned off on Tuesday, October 12th at 9 a.m. At that time, staff will start the process of winterizing the water systems, walking the lines, and shutting down the water plants for the winter. And they're a busy bunch of beavers. That's what they've been up to. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Up next.
Just
Go ahead.
two things. Just to remind everybody that when you're putting your brush out, that's not including garbage. So please just brush, because there have been a couple of garbage bags. Also, if you're putting your leaves out, please don't put them in garbage bags. So put them in clear or paper, preferably the blue ones, or clear ones.
Clear or blue?
Clear or blue.
So just to be clear, because the RNF page today says the 18th.
I'm sorry, Lindsay, there's no questions.
Oh, no, but yeah,
But, yeah.
to clarify, and that would be corrected. I was going off of the Public Works report, and they mistakenly put the 18th, so we'll make that correction.
Yeah, combination of errors, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Is any other questions for Mike, gentlemen? All right, thank you very much, Mike. Finance, Erwin.
I must apologize that I left my hard copy of my detailed finance report at home, but I have presented for your review a draft. It's always nice to be able to report on the finances of this municipality, because they continue to be in very good shape. We thank administration and our public works staff for working hard to maintain that. I want to draw your attention to the graph, and what we show in this graph is 3 years back, starting in August of 19, and August of 20, and August of 21. And it shows you the comparables between those different timeframes and how our finances have improved. I'll draw your attention to the gold bar. I call that the golden bar. It's if you take our reserve funds, our accounts receivable, and our cash, and those are the three financial tools that pay our bills. And that number continues to grow, and that number is at $2.8 million. That golden line, it continues to improve. Our reserve funds, including utilities, have also steadily increased, and I'm proud of the fact that last year our council agreed to increase the amount of reserve funds that we were creating each year, so to set aside funds for future large expenditures, such as, for example, a new fire truck or other things that may happen. Rather than waiting for that expense to come up, we're setting aside funds today, and we will continue to do that over the next number of years to build up that little kitty, so to speak, to pay for what we know will be a future expense. Again, thanks to administration and Public Works for doing a good job, a good tight control on finances, and it's always a pleasure to report on favorable financial conditions. Thank you.
Any questions, gentlemen? Thank you very much, Erwin.
Just one thing, we could probably put that graph online so that people watching the video could see what Erwin's talking about.
I'll make sure I send you the right one.
Thanks very much. Protective Services, starting with police, Mike?
Unfortunately, we've had a computer problem
Oh.
with the police computer. There's also an ongoing problem with the email account. I've spoken with Chief McPherson, and we will have both issues remedied very shortly, and we will have a marvelous police report next month.
Thank you very much.
2 months.
2 months.
Oh, 2 months.
And
2 months worth.
Okay, thank you. Steve, do you have a fire report?
Yep. So there were a total of 9 calls this month. 7 of the calls were in the arm of Alexander. 4 of the calls were related to hydro lines and trees coming into contact and sparking and starting grass and bushfires. Alexander, like many areas, have a serious problem with trees growing and coming into contact with power lines. Hence, a lot of the work that was done this spring. This with the extreme dry conditions and the long-range forecast predicting that this will continue, i.e. droughts, in our future will make for the potential of many fires in the future. The remaining 3 calls were to a barbecue with an old gas line. There was a residential fire alarm that turned out to be burnt dinner, and last was a mutual aid call to help with a tragic MVA call. The 2 calls in the arm of Victoria Beach were for residential hydro service and discontinued from the structure and caused a grass fire with no other damage to the structure or property. The last call, was a call to an MVA bicycle and pickup truck. This was serious and could have been fatal. The fire department believes that the RM must initiate public awareness for people of the area on cycling safety. There may be a need to contact and work with the highways department on maintaining the shoulders of our highways to make them a safe option for cyclists. The fire department believes the only way to make protective cyclists, the fire department believes the only way to protect cyclists from distracted drivers or drivers that cannot see the cyclist at night is to make them a safe place to ride. Just a quick note back over to fire safety. Just a reminder that conifer trees burn anywhere between 5 to 10 times faster than deciduous trees. Our risk in Victoria Beach is extreme because of the density of our conifers, so we do need to start thinning them out. It doesn't mean that we need to clear cut all of our properties. It just means that we need to cut down all of our conifers and replace them with deciduous trees so that they're protected. They act as a natural semi-fire break because it prevents a wall of fire coming towards you as the fire is above your head. Also a reminder that we are now in a 5-year drought. And again, as was mentioned, it looks as though we're probably going to be going into a 6-year drought next year if everything continues. Also a reminder to remove your wood and leaves from underneath of your residence. That is a large source of property fires that result in the destruction of the building. And finally, if you are signing up for Connect, and everybody should be signing up for Connect because it will protect you and possibly save your life in the event of a catastrophic fire or emergency in Victoria Beach, please, 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 please put your Victoria Beach address down. It doesn't help us if you put down your LA address or your Ottawa address, because right now apparently Victoria Beach is the size of the world because people have been putting down their addresses from all over the world. So we need to go back, find out where your actual residence is, and then basically re-input that information. So please put in your Victoria Beach address when you sign up for Connect.
All right. Any questions for Steve? Graham?
Just a brief vote of thanks and a compliment to our fire department for their very detailed fire reports every month, 10, 12, 14 pages, which Steve did such a nice job of outlining and summarizing, but the quality of reporting from our fire department is just first class.
Agreed. Thank you. Any other comments? All right. Thank you, Steve. I have nothing to report on special events. Thank you, COVID. Golf course, Mike.
It's looking like we're going to end up on a high note with another great season, and good news for folks that golf Victoria Beach often. The 3rd and 4th hole tee boxes are scheduled to be redone, which means I no longer have an excuse for bogeying both those holes.
I'm making note of that.
All right. Any questions or comments on golf? Thank you, Mike. Municipal buildings, Graham.
Municipal buildings, as our summer season winds down, my report on our buildings shrinks accordingly. At present, I only have 4 items to report to this meeting. The preparations are gradually progressing for a public meeting to discuss the future of the Moonlight Inn, possibly by the Thanksgiving weekend, COVID permitting and subject to availability of a suitable venue. Recent developments have led to the possibility of the status of the log cabin being included on the agenda. Item 2 Work is proceeding on the complete rebuild of the stairs at Clubhouse Beach number 2 North and will be finished by early October. I talked to the contractor this morning. He also pointed out that he's addressed an issue, a safety issue at the Bayview number 3 stairs that were recently rebuilt. There was a few screws sticking out. He made the trip and grabbed them off, so that's now 100%. And finally, while this is does not necessarily pertain to a building, it's worth mentioning that a final location check is being conducted this week on the new waste and recycling site. This should clear the way for the invitation to bidders to process, for the invitation to bidders process to proceed as soon as possible. And that's your billing report. Thank you.
Thank you, Graham. Any comments, questions for Graham? Erwin, are you? No, okay. Thank you. Dr. Irwin. Dr. Irwin.
Not quite. The father of a doctor. Our committee met on September 12th. Due to COVID challenges, we had not been able to meet in person, so this is the first time we've had an in-person meeting for quite some time. Thank goodness we had a successful year with the doctor's clinic, and approximately 350 patients visited the clinic. We had a full slate of doctors, and by early reports, several of the doctors who participated in the program this year are interested in returning next year. The committee reviewed the terms of reference which had been passed by council a month or so ago. It was brought to my attention that there were some housekeeping details which needed to be corrected, and we will be drafting some minor changes which will then be brought back to council. I'm not concerned about the changes. They don't involve any serious structural or contentious issues. It's some housekeeping issues. But that will be forthcoming shortly. The doctor's clinic has now been shut down as of the week before the long weekend. Again, I want to thank the volunteers on the doctor's committee who put in hours to clean the site, prepare it, and get it ready for the docs. The medical clinic is unique in that I don't know of any other recreational facility in Manitoba that has a clinic like that. And it's kind of nice when your granddaughter gets a scrape or someone gets a cut, they don't have to drive to Selkirk or Pine Falls. So it's very nice to have that facility, and I thank the volunteers for their hard work in maintaining that facility. And again, thanks to Public Works for their help as well.
I'll just add that one of our police constables will be staying in the doctor's cottage until Thanksgiving, so if anyone sees a police vehicle there or another vehicle, it is temporarily being occupied. Thank you, Erwin. Communications. Steve or Mike have anything on this?
That the Facebook page is being populated with information for residents on an ongoing basis, and residents are invited to message the RM of Victoria Beach Facebook page. We hope you will. Any inquiries are answered as quickly as possible by appropriate members of the council or administration.
I just wanted to reiterate the connect, only because it is just simply slowing down the process. Please ensure that you put down your RMVB, or your Victoria Beach address, no other address on there. And then we also have a hearing coming up this Saturday at the social scene. I was mistaken earlier, but the social scene at
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. So if you want to come to the public hearing, it is at 1 o'clock at the social scene this Saturday.
And that public hearing is to hear comments on our zoning bylaw 1622. People wishing to present will need to sign in when they come in, and all submissions received by email will be entered into the record of proceedings. We're also asking for a couple volunteers to help us out at the front to sign people in and to check for COVID vaccinations. So if anybody feels like about an hour of doing that, please let us know. It'll be about from 12:15 till maybe 1:30 that day. Summer Information Office is closed for the season, and thanks to the 3 ladies who staffed our office this summer, and thanks to Graham Todd at Reliable Mobility for providing our mobility scooter rentals. He brings them in from the city, comes to repair them if necessary, and then comes and picks them up at the end of the season, which is fantastic. Building Inspector, Graham.
All right, thanks to our building inspector, Curtis Bodwin. His report for the month of August. Building permits, there was 4 development permits, 2 main building, 2 bunkhouse, 1 deck, 1 level, and 1 fence. The value of the permits is just over $1 million, and the fees collected were $8,999. Let's call it $9,000. It sounds better. And as usual, Curtis shows the year-to-date figures, which are even more meaningful. Value of permits so far year-to-date is $7.36 million. And the fees collected, $72,707. Bless his heart. Okay. Thank you very much, Curtis. And that's my building inspector report.
Thank you. It's nice to see people building and renovating and that's great. Thank you. Accessibility. Council received some emails regarding our proposal to convert the old log cottage at the Moonlight into 3 washrooms that would provide accessible services to residents, renters, and visitors in a central location. As Graham alluded to earlier in the building report, we are considering the comments received and considering alternate locations, and we still have not yet heard if we've received the grant that we applied for. It's not looking all that promising, but you never know. You know, maybe the new government, brand new government, federal government, throw money our way.
We can only hope.
But we're not holding our breath.
No, Rod is monitoring that. We'll hear the minute that he hears. So we may just have to sidestep the grant application and deal with it by other means.
Okay, thank you. Heritage and trails. Steve.
For trails, we do need to update the MOU with the cross-country ski group. They have done some fantastic work, but hopefully we can have it ready for the next council meeting. But also they have been doing a phenomenal job over the last couple of years in keeping our community active. For Heritage, just a reminder that we have a volunteer award that is still open, so please, if you know anybody in the community who deserves to be recognized for their volunteer efforts in the RM, we all know that there's quite a few, then please submit them by way of the form online. And then as for the Trails and Heritage page, I'm still waiting to get them finally completed.
Thank you very much, Steve. Right. Be it resolved that the September committee reports be accepted as presented. May I have a mover? Graham, thank you. Second. Steve, thank you. Any further comments, gentlemen? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next resolution, be it resolved that the following list of accounts be approved for payment. Accounts payable checks 9592 to 9630 in the amount of $74,065.67. September 17th payroll in the amount of $63,039.83, and Visa in the amount of $2,016.47. May I have a mover? Erwin, thank you. Second. Mike, thank you. Erwin?
Again, I've reviewed the list of accounts payable and they appear to be in order. The only notable item is an amount in the $18,398, and that is to pay for a new air compressor which will provide breathable air to refill the air units that are used by the fire department when they go into a building. Previously we had to go down to Grand Marais to get those cylinders refilled, and we now will have our own facility on site, so that will shorten the amount of time required. Otherwise, everything else appears to be just normal expenditures. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you, Erwin. All right, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. All right, moving on to other business on the agenda. Be it resolved, the Arm of Victoria Beach Council authorized the property owner of 22 Evergreen Road to move an RTM, or ready to move home, onto said property per email dated August 29, 2021. Further be it resolved that the owner be authorized to remove the small trees and brush situated on the road allowance adjacent to 31 Evergreen Road to enable the building move. May I have a mover? Mike, thank you. Second? Graham, thank you. Discussion? Mike?
Go ahead, Greg.
Graham?
I thought there was going to be some provision to replant the trees that have been removed. Are they just not worth worrying about?
Personally, I've seen the trees. They're scrub poplar. They will grow back very quickly themselves. However, the folks that are moving in the RTM have offered to replace the trees if it's deemed necessary. The foliage in front of the property that will be affected by the removal of the trees still has more than sufficient cover that it really shouldn't impact visibility from the street into the yard and vice versa.
Will anyone from Public Works be actually monitoring this process? You know, I think about the horror story in Charleswood a month or so ago where dozens of trees that weren't supposed to be cut down did get cut down. We need someone to monitor it.
It's a very good question. These 5 trees have been specifically identified, and I have asked the owners if they would orange tape the trees in question. Penny, I think you were able to actually see the site yourself. We shouldn't have the same thing that happened in the west end of the city. This would be a very simple removal.
And the issue really is that these trees are on municipal road allowance, so that's why we're asking for permission. So.
Yeah, and he submitted pictures of the trees, and you visited the site, and so has Mike, so seems reasonable to me.
Steve?
I would expect that they need to be replaced, because if anybody else, any other property had cut down trees on municipal property, we would require them to replace said trees. So I know there's a whole bunch of small ones around there. I'm not saying that we take little tallies on like the individual tiny saplings, but you know, the sort of larger ones that are there, I think that they should have to be replaced. If you don't want to set a precedence where it's okay for one person to cut down trees and then for somebody else to do the same, but then in one case we're not mandating that they have to replace the trees, but for the other one that we are. So that's my only issue.
Well, when I spoke to them, they said they would replace trees if required. So, you know, is it necessary to add that into the resolution, or should we add that to a letter that we sent them? Add it to a letter. All right, does that satisfy?
Yeah, that satisfies me. Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next resolution for discussion, be it resolved that the October 5th and 19th council meetings be held at 7 p.m. at the social scene here at Victoria Beach. May I have a mover? Erwin, second Graham, thank you. That's fine with me. What does the rest of council feel about that? You good?
Yeah, it's fine with me. You know, it's nice to see residents actually come out to the meetings. It's not something that we experience when we're in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Well, we've been away from our constituents for so long. It's nice to see we're going to take a couple more shots at meetings out here. I certainly applaud this idea.
Frank, are you aware? Okay, got thumbs up.
Frank approved.
Frank said.
Frank says, okay. All right, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. Next resolution, be it resolved, the Arm of Victoria Beach Council deny the application to develop the municipal road allowance adjacent to 331 Sunset Boulevard to remove vegetation or brush on the public lakefront land and to the, okay, let me try, start all over here. Be resolved, the Arm of Victoria Beach Council deny the application to develop the municipal road allowance adjacent to 331 Sunset Boulevard and to remove vegetation and/or brush on public lakefront land to the west of said property. May I have a mover? Oh, but I got that out. Steve, thank you. Second? Irwin, thank you. Council has received information on this project, a couple pieces of information on it. Is there any further discussion? My issue is that there are 2 or 3 very healthy mature maples that they want to remove on the First Avenue side to put in a new driveway where an already existing driveway is there. And then on the lakefront side, there are some hedges that the plans say they wish to remove, which are on municipal or road allowance, and they do provide some stabilization for the bank, and they are municipal. So those are my concerns. I visited the site a couple times. I don't know if the rest of council has.
My concern would be the same as yours, Penny, in terms of the bushes providing shoreline stabilization. Trees can be removed and replanted, but as you said, these are mature maples that I think I will agree with I pretty much agree with your concerns on the request.
Thank you. Any other comments? Irwin?
Has council in the past allowed for the removal of trees from road allowance, from municipal road allowances?
Well, I don't know that we've ever really been consulted.
Yeah, it's happened.
It's happened,
without approval.
Yeah, yeah, and then we hear about it.
I think it's important that we set a precedent to provide guidance for our property owners in future that municipal land is municipal land.
And our building inspector does not have authority to approve works on municipal land without council approval. So that's why this has come to us. Any other comments? All those in favor of denying this application? Graham, are you voting? Graham? Are you voting?
Yeah, I'll be voting.
Now? Are all those in favor?
Okay.
Thank you.
Need another coffee? No, it's not that one.
All right, carried. Thank you. Graham had some dental work done yesterday. All right. Oh, pardon me, I missed an item. I'm sorry. Local emergency response team. I asked for this to be on the agenda. I brought this forward on August the 10th, or on August the 10th, I sent an email to the local cottage associations, Wanasing, Albert Beach, PBCOA, and also to Sandy Gessler up in the, who used to be involved in the Permanent Residents Association. The email asked that they pass along a request to their members for persons who had interest and experience in working with emergency planning and response to join our team that we're working with our emergency response coordinator, Shelley Napier, on. We were looking for 5 to 7 individuals. We didn't get any response. I don't know if each association sent this information out, but we did not get any response. So I'm asking council where you would like to go from here. It's public now. If members of the community wish to contact any one of us, we can give them more information on this little committee.
Possibly you mentioned on the website and the Facebook page.
That's right. Okay, so the Facebook page for sure. Irwin?
Might be a thought at Saturday's meeting. We hope to have a good turnout, a short blurb.
It's purely for the public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, on Saturday. We don't want to go off in all directions.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
right.
Again, we're talking about it now. It'll be on our website. Summertime, people have a lot of other things on their minds, so perhaps they didn't give it serious consideration, but hopefully they will now.
Do we send it through Connect? I mean, I don't want to overuse
I
or
don't wanna
abuse it,
overuse it.
but it is something for emergencies.
It is, but that's pretty broad.
Let's see how we do with the web page and Facebook and see if we can.
I know that Wanasing relayed that message, that request to their members, and I don't believe they received any response. They didn't get any takers. Would it then fall on us to put our heads together and appoint some people?
We could try that as well. So let's put it on Facebook and the website and see what happens, in a week
And
or so,
see if-
and then go from there.
And maybe give some thought to anybody who we know who might be a useful candidate.
Okay. Erwin?
Just a thought, perhaps we should go back to the various property owners associations. I'm happy to talk to Albert Beach, and, you could talk to Wanasing and just sort of remind them of the need for this.
I could resend the letter as well.
That's not bad. It wouldn't do any harm. I'll take another run at Wanasing.
Thank you. All right, thank you for the reminder, Raymond. All right, moving on to correspondence. Many emails received regarding the upcoming public hearing, and many emails received regarding the proposed accessible washroom plans. I want to advise residents of Albert Beach, if you're not already aware, there will be a small film company filming a movie in Albert Beach later this week, and Sappy's, I understand, is a part of the filming, Sappy store, and some scenes will be filmed on some of the beaches. So I just wanted to advise residents that there will be lots of extra vehicles, perhaps, and sound and lights in the area. I think the 23rd and the 24th of September.
Are we going to allow them to park their vehicles on the roads and lanes? Thank you, I made that suggestion.
Yeah, I think that's where the parking is, on that pit road parking lot.
So just for everybody at home, because they may not have heard that, they were going to be parking over in the pit road parking lot.
Yeah.
All right. And is it going? Has it been, or is it going to be pointed out to them that there's no bonfires on the beach?
Well, it is part of their scene, so we've asked that they make sure it is small, contained, cleaned up, and the beach restored to its original condition, and that they have to make sure that it's all safe.
We don't really know who we're dealing with. Aren't we going to have some fire people on hand to make sure that this gets dealt with?
We can advise the fire department, and they can make that choice.
I mean, typically in these situations, the film company, whichever one it is, would take on the responsibility, financial and otherwise, to have it staffed appropriately, and in this case, that should include fire as well.
Okay, but I believe in trust but verify. Let's advise our fire department, please.
We can do that. And the police have been notified, and one of them is sitting here, so.
No problem.
All right.
Bring along your wieners.
Yeah, your hot dogs. Yeah, there you go. You can be an extra. All right. Any other correspondence you gentlemen would like to bring forward?
I received an inquiry concerning when our first responders are likely to be back in action, so to speak. I think there's a general misunderstanding that currently we do not have first responders responding. We're relying on the ambulance service from Pine Falls and from Grand Marais, and we're just curious as to when first responders might be back in operation.
I can't answer that question, but I can certainly ask Brad what his expected timeline is.
I'm not sure either, to be honest, so I would have to check on that as well. I know that there's a few things that they've been having to wait for, but then it's also so whether or not people feel comfortable, given that there's still those out there who have not adopted the vaccines. So, yeah.
I'm also led to believe that there's some new regulations have been put in place which will make it harder for first responders to volunteer in terms of commitment and financial costs.
All right, anything else, gentlemen?
I just have a reminder about Connect. Again, the only reason I'm bringing it up 3 times is because, like, I want this system to be up and running, and like every time we think we're about to get there, we get a flood of new people wanting to do Connect, and then we have to restart the whole process and find out where do you live in Victoria Beach so that we can actually tell you when there's an emergency, how you can save your own life. So please, just real quick on the vaccines. I say this every time, but now there's a bunch of new data out. So the mRNA vaccines have received full approval by Health Canada as well as the UFDA. So in other words, they have gone through the entire approval process from start to finish. They are fully approved, so they have full efficacy. They're as safe as you can possibly get. They're essentially one of the safest tools, medical tools that we have at our disposal, and they're the only way that we can rid ourselves of this plague. Just to give you some idea, there's been 63 million doses of mRNA vaccines administered in the US, at least 55 million doses administered in Canada. 75% of Canadians have received at least 1 dose. 69% of the Canadian population is fully vaccinated. And as of September 21st, 2021, at least 5.98 billion doses of vaccines have been administered worldwide. And just in case anybody is somewhat iffy, I'll just repeat what the CDC has on their website, which is the vaccine effectiveness in preventing COVID-19 related hospitalization was 80% among adults aged above 65 compared with 95% among adults aged 18 to 64. So please get the vaccine, because I want to take this off and I want to get back to normal life, and it's the only way we're all going to do it.
All right, I just need to clarify though, Steve, on Connect number 4. There are 1,800 subscribers, so it is working. We are able to use it, so it's just a matter of putting in the correct beach address, not your home address.
I'll clarify what I mean. So right now, absolutely, we can send the text out, we can send the emails out. What we can't do right now is to divide up the system into the individual areas to contact people as to where they are inside of the RM. And that's the real key to the system, is that if you are inside of the system located in the northeast side of Victoria Beach, and you just happen to wander on down to the southwest side and there's a fire, it will tell you from where your location is what you do there. But then it'll also send an emergency phone call and email to your home residents to tell you what you should do if you're there. So we can't set that up until we have all the data be accurate. So that's all I meant by that.
All right. Anything further, gentlemen? Hearing and seeing nothing further, be it resolved that the September 21, 2021 regular council meeting be adjourned. Next regular council meeting to be held on October 5th, 2021 at 7 p.m. here at the Social Scene in Victoria Beach. May I have a mover? Irwin, second Graham. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you, everyone.